Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about a new Netflix film, Holidate. Before I begin, let me know in the comments if you are looking forward to this or what your thoughts are if you've seen it already, and make sure to give this a thumbs up if you like these reviews. It helps me out immensely if you do that. Also, if you're new here and you like movies, whether it be blockbusters, hidden gems, or everything in between, please consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases and some classics. But now, let's jump right into it. This romantic comedy stars Emma Roberts as Sloane, who loathes the holidays and hates being single for them. When she sees a family member bring a holidate, a +1 exclusively for the holidays, she tries the idea out for herself when she meets Jackson, played by Luke Bracey. The two agree to be each other's dates for holiday celebrations and try to remain platonic, but soon develop real feelings for each other along the way. This is produced by McG and is directed by John Whitesell, who gave us some comedy classics such as See Spot Run, and Malibu's Most Wanted, and Big Mama's House 2. Okay. And if you were to take one look at the poster, it looks like just another cutesy romantic comedy, especially since Netflix cranks these out at least twice a month by this point. Though a minute in, you realize that tonally, this may not exactly be the movie you're expecting. The very first time, you hear Emma Roberts drop an F-bomb as she's thinking to herself, and you'll realize very quickly that, despite giving off the appearance of just another lighthearted romantic comedy, it's actually incredibly vulgar. Many of the jokes revolve around profanity-riddled arguments, cynical tirades, and a ton of overtly sexual humor. And to be clear, I'm not railing against those sort of jokes whatsoever. I'm always good with a well-done R-rated comedy. And what this tries to do is dress itself up as a fluffy, lighthearted good time, and then reveal itself as something a little darker than that. And on top of it, it'll be incredibly self-aware the entire time, with characters acknowledging tropes of the rom-com genre and calling them out. And because of that concept, I think this will have its audience, especially given the chemistry of the two leads. I thought both Emma Roberts and Luke Bracey worked well together, and Emma Roberts is especially someone I always found to be very charismatic, and she brought a lot of great energy to the film. If you're a big fan of hers, I think you'll enjoy this. Unfortunately, I didn't really like this at all, because while this idea of a self-aware romantic comedy that's darker than it actually appears to be is cool on paper, the execution was poor, mainly due to the fact that a lot of these vulgar jokes were done more for the sake of being vulgar than anything. It's like the fact they said something raunchy or did something explicit is the entire joke. And what ends up happening is it uses these jokes as a cover for the fact that, at the end of the day, it's still a generic romantic comedy. It's very predictable, and you can call exactly where it goes by 20 minutes in. Like, one of them begins to have feelings for the other at first, but they think of seeing other people, and then they hide it, but it bothers them, and from there, every beat becomes so familiar. On top of all that, tonally, by halfway through, it becomes very confused as to what it wants to be. The idea is that these characters grow, especially because they're single, and despite being in their late 20s and early 30s, they're very cynical about romance, and they're trying to get out of that mindset, so I get that. But it'll eventually be all over the place. Like, the tone becomes very lighthearted and fluffy by the end. It'll ease up on the raunchier jokes so much that whenever it does another attempt at vulgar humor, it comes off as very forced, and I just didn't laugh. The movie ends up becoming what it tries to make fun of. And to add to the notion that it's unoriginal and generic, the premise of two people becoming each other's dates for special occasions was actually just done in another romantic comedy last year, which I thought was done much better, called +1, which itself has a lot of When Harry Met Sally vibes. It's the same basic concept of two people, in this scenario longtime friends, being each other's dates but keeping things platonic. And instead of holidays, it's weddings, and once again, feelings arise between the two of them. It got a lot of positive reviews, and not too many people saw it, but I did. And because I did, that makes this movie even more tedious to get through. It just tweaked some of the settings from +1, followed the same beats, and leaned in even harder on the When Harry Met Sally vibes, and otherwise, it's basically the same movie. This had an interesting idea of making a movie appear like a lighthearted romantic comedy and then being something much more mature underneath. And it does have two solid leads who show they can capitalize on that concept if done correctly. But this wasn't done correctly. It's like plenty of movies we've seen before, especially one from just last year. On top of that, a lot of its jokes were done for the sake of being vulgar, and it eventually became the movie it tried to riff on. It's a mess, and while I think there will be an audience for this because of the cast, I personally wouldn't recommend it. Holidate gets a 3 out of 10. So let me know, did you see Holidate, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you like the concept? Did you find it funny? And what's your favorite holiday to celebrate? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll catch you next time.